if you're a nurse in Queens, New York, Jeff Bezos wants your number. Okay? He's, I guess, having troubles with the wife. You know, the one that looks like a fucking... She looks like a fucking deck. I don't know. She looks like a fucking mailbox or something. I don't know. I look at her and I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck that looks like. So I just say that she looks like a fucking webcam. And she actually doesn't, but like, I don't know what she looks like. So I can only tell you that she looks like a fucking stump, you know? Like, she looks like somebody that has chopped a tree down and they've just left the fucking stump there. She looks crazy as shit. Like, straight up crazy. So if he's having problems with her, I get it. You know, like, I understand. I don't think I'd want to go to sleep with that bitch every night, you know, if I was him either. I mean, it's crazy. But Bezos gave an interview today and, you know, they were asking him about, you know, taxes and spending and pretty much just political shit. It almost seems like maybe it could be like, hey, I'm potentially thinking about running for president, and these are my ideas and the things that I think about and the things that go on in my head and the things that I would change. He was asked about taxing and basically said, and I agree with the guy. You know, I'm not a big Bezos fan just because I feel like he's one of those weird, just Silicon Valley type guys that just, he's crazy. And they asked him, they said, you know, what do you think about taxing you more and you know, tax the rich, tax the billionaires, whatever. And he said, look, we don't have a taxing problem in this country. We have a spending problem in this country. And he's exactly right. You know, you can hate the guy all day long. You can not like what he stands for and what he does with his money and all this other shit. But, I mean, the guy's telling the truth. Like, he's got a really good point. It's like I told y'all on the last show, I'm pretty sure we talked about this. If you're one of those people that believe in taxing the rich, then unfortunately, you know, you're probably a pretty miserable person and nobody actually wants to be around you. And that sucks. It really does. And I hate that that's how your life has turned out. But unfortunately, that is your life. And there's nothing you can do about it, right? That's what I said in the last show. You know, you just have to commit, you know, just commit to the bit, you know, and, or you're just going to be a miserable person for the rest of your life. But anyways, Bezos gave this interview. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but I wanted to just kind of give y'all a look into it. Any nurses in Queens, New York, Bezos wants your number. You know, he's lobbying for you guys to not have to pay taxes. You know, he doesn't want you to have to pay taxes at all. I agree with him. I think that no taxes. You know, I think that that's a great way to look at things. You know, maybe we could only just tax items, but taxing income, dude, it's a lost cause, man. And people like myself that own a business and I don't make any more than the person that works at McDonald's, I end up paying in thousands of dollars every year because I decided that I wanted to be, you know, a person that fends for themselves and has something of their own and wants to own something. So here's Bezos.
What do you think personally? I mean, you read these headlines, you see your name in them, whether it's the Met Gala, protests.
Yeah.
On a personal level, what do you personally think of all this? I know we're talking about policy.
Well, on a personal level, you know, I think of my parents, and I think of how they uplifted me. I think of where they started. I think, you know, my dad is a Cuban immigrant. He came to this country right after Castro took over, and he was a 16-year-old boy who didn't speak a word of English. He came all by himself. His parents weren't allowed to leave. He was at a refugee camp in the Everglades, and he built himself up. My mom had me she was in high school. She was a 17-year-old mom. You know, it wasn't cool to be a pregnant mother in high school in Albuquerque, New Mexico in 1964, and she brought herself up. And so I look at that and I think, you know, I want to make sure that the people who are struggling today have a chance to do that too, to bring themselves up, and maybe, maybe they're going to be the next Steve Jobs. Maybe they're going to be, maybe one of their kids will be the next Steve Jobs. I don't know, but we can give them a better chance by eliminating their tax bill. I don't want to reduce it. I want to eliminate it. I think there's something very powerful about zero. Zero is a better number than like $1. We don't charge. We have free shipping at Amazon, not like 25-cent shipping. Zero is a good number. When people are starting out and they're struggling, stop taxing them. We don't need it. We live in the wealthiest country in the world. America is the greatest country in the world. We have more entrepreneurial dynamism here than anywhere else in the world. This is the best time to be alive in America because we have access to capital is so easy right now. It's so good. And I'm talking about for entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs. And we should have so much optimism about the future.
Okay, well, I want to talk about some of that optimism because there's some people who are very fearful, by the way, about AI.
I'm very aware of this, and I think those people are dead wrong.
We'll get into that in a second, but you have a relationship with the President Trump. Now that you have this, I don't know if there's a policy position, the Bezos policy position for zero taxes on, I don't know what the wealth number is going to be. Do you plan to go to Washington to talk about this with them? I mean, is this something you want to be the advocate for?
I'm certainly going to advocate for this. I've worked with every president since Bill Clinton, and I hope to work with, the next couple of presidents too, if they'll have me. But yeah, we have. It's part of our job as citizens and as business leaders to share our ideas, and this one would actually help people. This one would actually help people.
And yeah, so the guy is a different breed.
The promise of a deeper liquidity pool.
Shut up. He's a different breed. Maybe he's a little too optimistic. Maybe he's a little too ambitious in his ideas. But it's all truth. Like our tax money goes to more things that don't benefit this country and its people than it does, two things that benefit the country and its people. Like the Ukraine war with Russia, or like sending it all to fucking Israel, dude. Like, we don't need this shit, alright? And I, as a guy that owns my own business, like I said, I pay thousands of dollars each year in taxes. I don't want to be sending that money to something that isn't going to benefit me. Taxes should be looked at as an investment. If we're going to pay it, it needs to be looked at as an investment. It needs to be localized and not nationalized. I feel like our tax money goes to everybody in the country. No, I think my tax money should stay right here where I live, in the city, in the county that I live, and help the place that I live in, And then, I don't know, make the politicians in Washington give up their own fucking money, Like, they're literally spending money on the dumbest shit, and none of it's theirs, Like, if we're all dumb enough to actually believe that these people are paying the correct number in taxes, then that's just unfortunate. Like we shouldn't believe that these people are actually paying what they're making. You got people like Nancy Pelosi that do insider trading, and she's not the only one. Pete Hegseth's probably the same way that he does insider trading. Trump probably does insider trading. I would imagine that about 90% of politicians in Washington do insider trading. AOC, Ilhan Omar, you name them, they all do it. It's like we all see these people's pay stubs at the end of the year, and then somehow they only pay like $50,000 in taxes, and I'm like, there's no fucking way. Like, it's impossible. Like, the bitch literally made $7 million last year. There's no reason at all that they should only be paying $50,000 in taxes. Makes no sense to me. So let's have taxes at a localized point, and then what you do from there is you tax the cities or the counties, whatever the case may be, you run a 10% tax of everybody's tax from that city and county, and that's what funds all the bullshit that you want to do. But we keep the other 90% of it here in our cities and towns and whatever. We keep 90% of it, boom, there you go. You can have that little 10% that we'll give you, but our government in these cities and counties needs to be the one paying it. Jeff Bezos is fucking weird, man, alright? We can all agree on this. The guy's fucking weird. He's so hopped up on testosterone and steroids and whatever else you may have. He's a fucking weird guy, alright? And that's okay. He's still a genius. He's still probably one of the smartest people in the entire world. And he's one of the greatest entrepreneurs to ever live. Like, ever to live, ever to exist. There probably isn't another entrepreneur that is greater than Jeff Bezos. And so with that, you have a little bit of weirdness. Now, in this segment, like I said, we weren't watching the whole thing. That was just like a 3-minute excerpt of kind of, what had been talked about. But he did mention something about some Queens nurses and, we don't need to tax that nurse in Queens. And, he pretty much was like, you want to tax me more. You want to say tax the rich. That's fine. But that doesn't help the nurse in Queens that's struggling to feed her 3 kids and is living in an apartment or a condo or something in Queens. It's not helping her because she's still being taxed the same way. So we don't have a tax problem in this country. We have a spending problem. And ultimately that does kind of lead into a tax problem at the end of the day. I noticed there, I don't know if you realize while I was saying that, it kind of clicked. I was like, well, you know what, that kind of is a tax problem. It's a tax problem and it's a spending problem. It's more so of a spending problem than it is a tax problem, but there's problems on both ends of it. But who am I to fucking, sit here and try to play the blame game or whatever? I can tell you who I think is to blame for all this. It's the retards that are on Twitter every single day that have butt plugs in and they're just screaming at people saying that, that they need to die and that we need to, the rich need to pay more. And I'm just like, well, it does nothing, like you can tax them all day long. It does nothing, so, Kevin O'Leary, I don't know who really cares about what this guy has to say, but, somebody asked him to speak for whatever reason. Kevin O'Leary, if you don't know, he's the guy from Shark Tank. One of the judges or one of the entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call him, from Shark Tank. I don't know, all right? But he basically says, Kevin O'Leary says, Gen Z is financially cooked when people make $70,000 a year and are spending $28 on lunch. And it's just like, well, that's just what lunch costs, like, it's not that we want to spend $28 on lunch. It's just, that's just how much it is. Like, if you want something that's just maybe halfway filling, that's it. Like I live in Tennessee, okay? And we have a gas station in Tennessee that I want to say it's only privy to Tennesseans, and it's called Weigel's. They might have some in Georgia, they might have some in Kentucky, I don't know. But it started in Tennessee. And at Weigel's, you can get some pretty decent food. I ate lunch there today. I got a drink. They've got these like pizza stick things. It's like a breadstick, but it's stuffed with like pizza sauce and like pepperonis and cheese and whatever. On top of that, I got like a little taquito. All right, so these are 2 like sticks. I mean, like, they're not big at all. Like, they're fairly small meals, I guess you could say. All right. So 3 items total. this came out to $12.50. I didn't even get filled up by it, you know. Like I was like, and I don't eat big lunches anyways because I work a pretty labor intensive job. So if I eat a big lunch, I'm just gonna be fucking ruined, right? And so yeah, like I can only imagine if you work a desk job, bitch, you little fucking bitch. Get out and use your hands, bitch. Use your hands. Make sure your hands look like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you can see that, but make sure your hands look like that, you little bitch. But, you know, there's guys out there that work desk jobs and they can just eat whatever the hell they want to. And like a lunch for them is just it's like a dinner, you know, like they go all out. They eat a shitload of it. So I would imagine that, yes, $28. Now, there are some days where, you know, we'll go to a nice place and have lunch, but we're still eating off the lunch menu, you know, like we're still not getting all that much. But even for lunch, dude, like in Tennessee, it's no thing to spend $15 to $20 for lunch. Now I'm assuming that O'Leary is probably talking about places like LA, New York City, you know, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Texas, whatever, Miami, places like that. And, yeah, I mean, that's just where you live, you know? It's like, you go to these big cities, man, and it's like living inside of an NBA game every fucking day. Like, you know, beers are $15 a beer, fucking lunch is damn $30, and it's like, what are we doing, you know? And now, you have all these people moving in Tennessee, and I fucking hate to see it. I look, I'm kind of stuck in the middle about it, you know? I see people that want the city to grow or the state to grow, and I'm like, all right, that's cool, like, yes. But then at the same time, I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. Like, Jesus Christ, nobody wants you here. Like, and it's the worst people, you know, like they're all coming from LA or like Michigan or fucking Pennsylvania. And it's like, those are the worst types of people. Like, Northerners and fucking people from LA are just the two worst types of people, you know, like, go the fuck back home, brother. Jesus Christ. I'm cool with people from Texas and Florida moving up here because they're genuinely, like, they're pretty cool. Generally, they're pretty cool. But, yeah, man, the Northerners and the Californians just fucking stay where you are at, brother. God, they suck. But I have a feeling that before too long, you know, well, maybe not too long. Probably going to be a little while, but one of these days, you're going to wake up and you're going to go out for lunch and you're going to go to McDonald's and they're going to be advertising a $5 box, you know, or maybe it's a $7 box. That's what it's all turned into now, $7 boxes, right? And they're going to be like $7 box. And you're going to go up there and you're going to be like, hey, I want a $7 box. They're going to be like, all right, pull the front window. And then the lady's going to open the window and she's going to go, your total is $7. And you're going to be like, what? She'd be like, $7. There's no more taxes. Thanks to Jeff Bezos and his fucking deck of a wife. Thanks to Jeff Bezos and his fucking chair of a wife. We have no more taxes now. And it'll be then that I will make it my life's work to find out just how. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to find out how I get in touch with Kevin O'Leary. And, you know, maybe I'll have to travel all the way to LA. Maybe I'll have to travel to New York City. I don't know where the guy lives, you know. But I'll need to find somebody that has Kevin O'Leary's phone number. And I'm going to call him. And I'm going to say, you stupid fucking piece of shit. I just spent $7 on lunch at McDonald's. We have no more taxes. $7 on lunch. Fuck you. Good night.